Hello and welcome to my first video on Macro Writing 101 for Foundry. In this video, I will discuss the basics and concepts of macro writing. However, before you actually get into writing macros for Foundry, I cannot express how important it is to learn how to use the console. So let's start there. Now this works best if you're using the web browser as opposed to the Foundry app. To access the console, we're just going to hit F12 on our keyboard. So we want to go ahead and target one of these guys. Let's go ahead and target this goblin. Now, to get the actual information for this token, we want to actually, in the console, we can go ahead and type token. And you can actually see underneath here, it's kind of showing us that there's some information here to be had. So if we hit enter, it'll bring that up here. And then there's this little right arrow that we can actually click. And this will open up the token data information. Now, there's a lot of things in here that you'll see. Pretty much you can just ignore majority of this. You're not really going to interface with it unless you're writing your own module, which then some of this stuff may come into play. But for mostly, the only fields that you're ever going to really interact with is actor, data, and maybe, where is it? Valid position. Those are really maybe about the only three things in here that you're ever going to really mess with. So, on a token itself, most of the information for the token, like the lighting and other variables, are always saved within this prototype token. So yeah, like the character information, the image, the position, where they're at, the vision, and the resource bars. Now when you toss down a token onto the board that's not attached, it's going to have its own information here. So now the position is up because it's on the board, and that. So with this, I'll show you how to, let's say we wanted to take this token disposition and we wanted to look up what hostile is set to. Say you wanted to update the token to make it friendly instead of hostile, because you have some event where the NPCs are role-playing and they're able to make friends with monsters for whatever reason. Alright, so in order to get this value, this is actually stored within the token data section of it. All these stats and stuff is actually stored within the actor. So you have token data here, and this is all stored within the actor part of the token. And the two actually don't really talk to each other because they're in two separate areas, and they're connected to each other by this frame. I guess you could say folders. That might be the easiest way how to think of it, this being the object. So from here, we can go ahead and, as I told you, everything's stored within the data folder within that. So we can actually go in here, hit the down arrow on data, and we can look through here and be like, okay, what's this? What's that? What's this? Oh, hey, here's one that says disposition. And you see right now that it's set to a -1. So that's obviously what hostile is set to, or rather it's hard-coded within the Foundry variables. So if we were to, let's go ahead and go back into the token just to verify this. Let's go ahead and set this to friendly. Then let's go ahead and save it. And then let's go back into our console and let's pull back up that token again. Then we go back in the data, and now you can see that it's set to 1 instead. So you're like, aha, okay. So -1 is hostile, 1 is friendly. And then obviously 0 is neutral. And the same for this information can be said for light settings. So let's say if we wanted to make this guy like he's holding a torch. And let's set this to some particular lighting, and then let's go ahead and update it. And wow, he's a bright boy right there. And as going through here, maybe you don't want it quite as bright. All right, so let's say you're like, yeah, I like that lighting. Then we can go back in here. Actually, we can just fast this. Go back into the token data. And then now you can see that some of these variables are populated now. As before, they weren't populated. So now if you were like, okay, let's go back here to our new guy. And then, so for the light, that's actually controlled by the alpha light, the intensity. And then also you can go in here and check out, like, bright light is set to 20, and then the dim light set to 40. So within that, you can, gauge what kind of settings in there that you're looking for. And then if you're going to write a macro to update it, then you know what variables to put within the macro. All right. So let's say I wanted to actually get this guy's strength value, because I'm going to write a macro, or get what his current hit points are. So let's go over to the actor section of this. So we're going to go back to the token. And in this case, we're going to put an actor. Or you can actually just go ahead and go in here, go back through there, click through here. And then all the information is actually stored within the next nested level of data. And this has all of the stats of the character and name and what their avatar is set to. All that information is stored in here. So if we go into this extra data, and here you'll see all the abilities, attributes, bonuses, currency, details, resources, all the stuff that makes up this area of the character sheet is all stored in there. If they've got any effects on them, it's in here. If they got any current flags, as well as items, all that stuff's in here. So yeah, so if I wanted to actually get his strength bonus, you can actually just go in here, and let's say I wanted to get his strength mod. As a cool thing about the console, if you move your mouse over it, it'll actually show you the entire data line right there underneath. And you can actually just right click, go to copy path, and in this case we'll just put in the token actor, and you can see down below that it kind of fills it in for you, or at least shows you a preview of it rather. So now it just gives me the -1. So if we wanted to write that into a macro, we can just use this line. Now when writing macros, you're not going to use the underlying token. You can actually just use straight up token. But for the console itself, for getting what you're selected, minus token works best. Or you can use canvas.tokens.controlled 0, 1, because it grabs you an array, and 0, 1 is the first thing in an array, and you can go that way as well. But that's some other way. I'll explain how to use all this stuff in another video. But anyhow, so from there, let's go ahead and let's move on to the next section, creating a macro. Okay, so we got our two guys here. And let's say we want to go ahead and make this guy's, get his values, and then we're going to go ahead. Actually, let's just do the update and make this guy friendly. So, you've got your hotbar down here. This is where you store your macros at, or at least create them. You can also look them up later in this little icon here. It'll bring up your macro directory for all the future macros that you tend to write if you want to store them for later usage. So we're going to go ahead and just click on a box, and it'll come up here. Now we can name this macro whatever we want. Let's say make friends. Now this box here, it's for the image, so you can go ahead and assign it a particular graphic. Let's make it the black div 20, sure. And then if you save it, it'll actually be here. Actually, that's really hard to see. I'll make it the blood droplets. Alright, so that's how you can change the icons for this. But, alright, so this particular macro, we're actually going to go ahead and choose script instead of chat. The chat macros, what they do is, like, let's say you want to do, like, hello, friend. And, you know, you just go there. And then the target will actually say that. However, in this case, we wanted to do a script because we want to go ahead and change this guy to a friendly goblin. So we're gonna need to grab our target. So we can just make target equal token, and then from here we're gonna go ahead and update the token. So I mean, you could do token.update, but, you know, from here, I usually like to make things equal out to other things, because then you can use weights, and there's a couple other, like, methods for updating, so then it does it one at a time, rather than throwing a whole bunch of stuff at the system, and then it's just like, oh my god, you're, like, overwhelming me. So in this case, it was disposition. And we wanted to set it to, oh yeah, last I checked he was friendly, right? Let's go in here. What's he set to? He's set to friendly right now. So he is best buds. So let's yeah, let's go ahead and make him an enemy instead. So we're gonna go ahead and do this, do an update, because we're setting the disposition to -1. We go in here, go in there, and now he's set to hostile. So all we did was go into the target, and then we're doing an update. As I said, the other way you can do this is just do token.update, go that route, and it still does the same thing. So if we would change this to 1, we go in here, he's friendly now. That's all within there. So what token update does is it actually pushes you into the data folder. So you know, going back in here, going into token.data. So this pushes updates into this. Now you can't do like token update and then put variables, like let's say strength variables, because as you can see in here, there's nothing that links between the actor. This is an actor ID. It's going to show you some changes in here, but it's not going to show you actually what's going on with the actual actor portion of itself. So from here, if you wanted to say make his hit points less, make his hit points greater, give him higher armor, or change his strength value. Let's go ahead and give him some ungodly strength. So in this case, now if your actor is not linked, usually you'll make your players, like this particular character, you'll go ahead and link them, so then this information syncs up with this information here. That's when you link your characters together. Monsters, on the other hand, you know, you can just drop them down. They roll their own hit dice, you know, all that stuff. They're all independent of their own separate containers. So there's no problem there updating this thing. It's not going to make any changes to, you know, the boy saved in here. So I can freely manipulate this without breaking any of this, since since they're not attached. So let's go ahead and make him, let's give him let's give him strength 25. So from here, what you want to do is go back in there. You're going to go ahead and go into the token actor. You don't want to go to straight actor, because the problem is going to be that sure, it's going to hit this guy, but it's not going to touch this. You're going to end up modifying the guy in here because you're going to the actor level, and that's not what you want to hit unless you're modifying a player, because remember, again, it's going for this link data. So usually when you're updating monster tokens, you want to go to the ground up. So you want to go through the canvas, which is this background, this environment. This is the canvas. So you want to go from the canvas to the token to the actor, and then apply your updates that way. You can do the same with actors as well. It's not going to make any difference, and actually it's a bit cleaner going that method as well. Unless you're going for a specific grab directly to the actor to get something. But pretty much you usually always want to go for the token first, and then go along with the branching folders from there. As I said, it's just a cleaner method. Alright, so we got our token selected. Then in here, we want to go back to token.actor.update. Now, if you're like, oh man, I don't want to write all that stuff out. Again, let's go back to our console. Let's go back to actor.data.abilities. It was a strength that we wanted to get. And we're like, okay, which one do we want to grab? Oh, hey, we saw that his strength was 8. And it shows it down here. So let's go ahead and hit that. And then what we can do is copy down. Now, remember how I told you the token update takes you into the first section of the data. Actor update does also. So when you do a actor update, it's going to lobby you into this first data directory. So you don't need to put it in there. You just need to put in the data.attributes. Here, I'll give you a visual. All right. So this is when you do a actor update. This is where it's going to toss you into. So any of this type of things that you can put in there. So if you wanted to change, effects or flags, you just put in that. So in this case, we're going to go from that section. So basically, you just kind of go in here, go there, grab that. So it's going to be data, abilities, strength, value. So let's go ahead and copy that. Let's do our brackets. That, and then let's give him a beefy strength of 25. And let's go ahead and update it. As you can see here, now strength's 25. And let's say we wanted to put it back. I think he had a strength of 8. And then we can put it back on 8, and he's back there. Then if you want to change any other ones, like Dex, we could make it like something obscene. Whoops. I didn't hit, actually, I ended up hitting the wrong button there. Now he's got a Dex of 80. You can pretty much go, you can go crazy with the updates. It doesn't limitate you as far as that. Only if you end up putting, now you got to be careful when kind of updating characters as well. If you typo, you'll actually put that as a thing. So like, let's say we want to do data dot or dex dot oops, and then we go into the character data dot abilities dot dex, and then you go in here and you can find a variable for oops. So now there's that. The character sheet itself is not going to see it, so most of the times you can do that. I've goofed up before and put an extra data in here, and then I caused like an entire extra tree to form. So really, you want to make sure that you're doing it correctly. If you're doing it to unlinked tokens, that's fine. You can go ahead and just test them out. I mean, you do as much stuff as you want to them, and if you break them, whatever, you just delete it and drop down a new dude, and you know, nothing's changed. I hope this video gave you a clearer understanding of how to interact with tokens and also pass updates. Now, this is the first in the video, probably a series of macro writing that I'm going to do. Later on, I'll probably do videos as far as some syntaxing of writing maybe chat boxes, and then also manipulating items and how to find things. Just give you some just general utilities of what you're going to be doing in your general macro writing as it is. But yeah, you know, subscribe to my channel, like the video, hit the notification, it all helps everything. And then also, I'm on Twitter, I've got a Patreon account up and going with some fabulous people that are on it. And then, yeah, so thanks for watching the video, and hope you'll watch my next videos. See you later, bye.